mist is hanging low. Boots crunch the frost where the grasses grow. Rifle slung in a heart that's steady. Oh, the wild calls out and I'm already ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Inside Spread podcast. My name is Kenny. I'm your host, and we are tackling a subject kind of again that whitetail hunters talk about obsessively, and that's scent control. We did have a podcast a couple weeks ago about our scent control products out there today, either marketing hype or they actually do what they say they do. And so we're going to kind of tack onto that a little bit. We're going to talk about a couple different things with ozonic and ion technology. We're going to cover a couple of specific products today with Travis, and we just want to give you an opportunity to learn more about those things and see if they are just marketing hype or if it's worth your time and money to go out and jump out and buy those things. So before we get started, I just want to take a minute to tell you how you can support the Inside Spread. First, if you're trying to buy new hunting gear, any outdoor equipment, or just about anything related to hunting, fishing, in the outdoors, we have partnered with some great brands that we trust, like Academy Sports, King's Camo, and Ravens Crossbows. These will be affiliate links in our show notes that will just give you an opportunity to buy quality products and at no extra cost to you, but it helps support our show. So we appreciate everyone that does that. Also, join us at theinsidespread.com. Come over there, check out our articles, read them up, check out our Facebook and Instagram page, comment, like, subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else that you get your social media. If you could take just a brief 30 seconds when you're done listening to the show today, just to rate our podcast. If you can, whatever the rating system is, whether it's a like or 5 stars, just keep rating our podcasts, and we will continue to bring great content to you. But also, it helps us bring great content to other hunters and outdoor people as well. So, thank you again for joining us today. And without any further ado, let's get on with the show. Thanks, everyone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Inside Spread podcast. Today, we are diving into something that seems to get a lot of buzz all the time in the whitetail world. It is scent elimination, and specifically scent elimination devices. So today, we're going to talk about 2 devices that have been around for a little while, called the Wildgame Innovations Zerotrace and the Ozonics HR500. The Zerotrace uses ion technology and retails around about $150 to $200, and the Ozonic HR500, on the other hand, uses ozone, but that'll set you back $400 to $500 depending on where you find it. Both of these have been used and tested by Travis, our guest today from the Inside Spread. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, kind of the big question to start out right away is, do these things actually work, and are they worth the investment?
You know, that's the crazy thing. And I think a lot of hunters were kind of a little bit gun shy over any sort of new technology that claims to be a game changer, if you will, because I think a lot of us, we've been burned so many times. This is one of the few things that I have found in, 27 years of hunting that actually works as advertised. Um, and it's crazy. I probably wouldn't have believed it myself, but I've seen more than enough examples since then that proves there's something to this. One of the more notable ones, I was running the Ozonics HR500 on opening morning of firearm deer season about 3 years ago or so, and I had the wind coming from the south, uh, just kind of blowing my scent to the north, and this doe and her 2 fawns came in on the north side of me, and she stopped dead in her tracks at 15 yards and looked up at me. She saw me. She caught a glimpse of me, and she sat there and she kind of curled her lips a little bit. She was doing the whole scent thing,
Mm-hmm.
and she did not scent me at 15 yards with the wind blowing my scent directly in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And she stood there for about 10, 15 minutes. I mean, she was spooked, but she never figured out what was going on because eventually they walked off, tails flicking pretty casually. They stopped to
Mhm.
browse. And so that was kind of like the holy crap. Did that just happen kind of thing? Because normally that's a game over situation.
That's awesome. Uh, Very interesting as well. What is maybe some of the science behind the technology of the zero trace versus the technology of the ozonics, and how do they neutralize the scent differently?
Yeah, so we're kind of going off marketing hype here and what they kind of claim about it. So the zero
Mhm.
trace, uh, basically both of them, they're supposed to break down human sense at like a molecular level. The pure ion, I'm just reading off their site here, utilizes the small flow of small but mighty ion particles to safely dispense scent particles. Um, Now, I'm not sure how true some of this is, but I will say this. It is noticeable that this can break down some uh, really bad smells. I've used this pure ion machine. I had like a pair of uh, like water shoes that smelled really bad after being in the river. You know, it just had that
Mhm.
kind of stinky, musty smell to it. And so I just kind of set them in front of this thing, and it does do something. It takes the scent out because it takes the smell out, you know. So if I'm noticing it, I'm sure the deer can.
Yeah,
Um,
with
so
their
the
noses.
eight, yeah, the HR 500, it's a little bit different because it emits ozone. It's kind of a gas. Um, and I don't know exactly how it works, but the same thing they're saying that it just destroys human scent molecules is basically what they're claiming.
Hmm.
Um, but it does do something to smells. I don't know entirely how it works, but
Hmm.
both of them do seem to do the same thing. Um, One thing I will note about this is the pure ion machine right here. Uh, this one doesn't have a noticeable odor to it. The
Hmm.
Ozonics, which I don't have with me today, that one it has kind of a it's almost like a burnt electronics smell.
Yeah.
You'll notice it when you're sitting there. It's kind of subtle. Um, so I don't know if that's the ozone gas or what it is. Um, but for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to alert the deer.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had like those mosquito repellent stuff, the stuff that
Yeah,
you put on your side. They kind of smell the same, where it's like this electric burning from warming
yeah,
up the pad on there. And so I know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about that smell. It's off-putting to
yeah.
humans, obviously, but it's not too bad to deer, I guess.
One thing I should mention about both these machines, at least as far as like the ozone gas thing goes, because if you start doing research on that kind of stuff, there's all sorts of articles warning you not to use ozone generators while you're sitting near them or in an enclosed space because
Hmm.
the gas is supposed to be toxic. Now, you know, is that harmful when it's sitting above you in a tree stand and the wind is blowing? I'm not sure. I did a lot of research trying to figure that out, and I could not
Hmm.
find anything on it. One thing's for sure, that's not something that Ozonics puts on their website, for obvious reasons, because it would
Hmm.
be a lot harder to sell it. I did notice that Wildgame Innovations, though, they say that the pure ion technology of this one, they say that it's safe to use. Is it? I don't know. But yes, you will notice the scent of the ozonics over that one.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to take things with a grain of salt. Um, you know,
Yeah, they're
and
not linking
if
scientific research papers on their website to sell it.
no, no, I would love to see like a research paper on how, you know, dangerous using one of these machines up in the tree is. But as of right now, I can't find anything on that, and I'm not a scientist, so I can't say anything. So make of that what you will, I guess.
For sure. That makes sense. So when does it make sense to use these devices as a hunter? Is it like really good at the peak rut all season long or specific wind conditions? What is kind of the play here?
So I use them all the time. I mean, I've stopped going into the woods without at least one of the. Usually, I take this one. Uh, and it's just because I like the this bracket on the back because it allows it to kind of move around. Um,
Hmm.
the arm on the wild game or the Ozonics one is a little over engineered in my opinion, and a little bit harder to use. But I use them in pretty much any conditions. Um, I've gotten to the point where I'm not as worried about wind as I used to be because of how well they've worked.
Hmm.
Um, so pretty much any setup, I'm going to be using this. Usually I just kind of strap them above my head in the tree, or sometimes I put them outside my blind. I've ran both machines at the same time before if it's like particularly windy,
Hmm.
just to see what happens. And you're like a ghost in the forest, basically. Um, once you start using ones, and once you see like, hey, it really does, there really is something to it, and it works. It's like, man, I don't want to go in the woods without it anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't tested it, but
So you mentioned that you kind of position it above your head. Is there anywhere else that they recommend positioning the device when you have it set up?
no, I think that's pretty much the standard way that most people, put it. You put it over your head and you position it so that, you know, there's a little fan that runs and like it shoots out the ion particles or the ozone.
Hmm.
And I believe the instructions recommend like positioning it so that's going out into the wind, so it's going
Hmm.
out into the deer's nose, basically.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot that's complicated about it. You just kind of set it up and forget about it. I mean, the only thing you have to do is make sure you charge the battery because they do eat battery pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
That makes sense.
it'll last a whole day of hunting. Both of them, I've tested both of them over a whole day. So
Nice. Yeah. That's plenty of battery power then. If it's, sitting out there for 8 to 12 hours and no worries, then yeah, that's what you need. You just got to remember to charge it the next day for the next day. What are these devices? Who are they really designed for? Like, are they just for all hunters, or are you only thinking about serious whitetail hunters, or who is it for?
I think one of the drawbacks of these machines is that it's very much a stationary type of hunting scenario thing.
Hmm.
Like when you're in a tree stand or a ground blind or you know, maybe still hunting, where you're stopping once in a while, but then you got to set it up every time. It's
Yeah.
not really a spot and stalk kind of thing because it's not really designed for that.
Hmm.
So I think that I'm here in the Midwest, it makes more sense for me here than it probably would, if I'm out, in Colorado or something, hiking up in
Hmm.
the mountains trying to spot and stalk. I think then it's just going to be excess weight and it's going to be a little bit too cumbersome to
Hmm.
set up all the time. Uh, um, I guess it depends on your hunting style, really, but for the most part, I think it's mostly tree stands and ground blinds.
Yeah. Yeah. It totally makes sense to me. I mean, I wouldn't want to carry something like that up in the mountains. Doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense for that scenario. Or even like I do a lot of saddle hunting with my bow, and like, do I want to have it when I have to move? That's just kind of some thoughts I'm thinking about. Like, do I want to get down and have that, take that with me and hold it in my bag and then reset it up every time? But I think if I was sitting on a deer stand that I've had sitting there for 5 years and it's in the same spot, then yeah, that'd be perfect to be able to just set that right up above you and let it do its thing. So, and that kind of brings me another question. Like, why would a hunter invest, it's like 150 to $500 into this device when, traditional scent control methods are way cheaper? What is the real advantage?
I think the real advantage for me has just been peace of mind when wind conditions shift, which they inevitably will.
Hmm.
You don't know when, it's going to suddenly all the wind is going to be blowing into the food plot you're sitting on, or when the thermals might change and carry your scent, over into the next valley where that big buck has always been sitting. So that's basically what the biggest thing I've gotten out of it is like I don't worry as much about what the wind is doing. I mean, I do still play the wind, uh, as you should. It's not 100% foolproof, but man, I have seen more deer using these things than I did prior to using them, and it's wild. Like I said, normally I'm pretty darn skeptical because there are so many gimmicks out there, but
Yeah,
and if you go online, if you go on Reddit and stuff, you'll find people saying the same thing. It's like, no, there's something to it, which is crazy, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's so interesting to think about that. There, technology exists that could potentially eliminate your scent and give you kind of just one step up on deer. And obviously, doesn't mean that we're going to kill more deer necessarily, but one of the major parts of the game of deer hunting is being able to see deer and see how they act and how they respond to things. And the more we learn about them, the better opportunities hopefully that will give you in the long run. So I think it's an interesting technology. I would, love to at least try it out sometime and see how it functions. I think we were talking beforehand. I use a lot of doe and estrus scent to try to cover my tracks and use that, and it seems to work for me. But maybe there's some others that it doesn't work for them. So here's another opportunity to at least try something. But at the same time, you got to be ready for that price tag.
Yeah, and the Wild Games machine is a lot cheaper. This is like 150. I think I paid 160 bucks. I bought mine on eBay, so it was a little bit cheaper. Um, and actually, it's a little bit better value too, because they give you two batteries with that one, and they give
Mm-hmm.
you a cable that'll charge both of them simultaneously, so you can take both batteries. And the Ozonics, you're only getting one. Um,
Yeah.
if I had to say between the two, the Ozonics probably works. It seems like it's a little bit stronger, but I both of them have worked when I got wind blowing my scent right at a deer. I've seen it dozens of times now, and it's just crazy how well they both work. The tech works.
Nice.
Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
like you
you don't have
said.
to spend like 500 bucks on it. Like I said, when something like this exists. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it would just be interesting to kind of dig into the science and see what actually, it is, and see what is changing that scent enough to be able to fool the deer a little bit. It would be cool to kind of get that in writing and see like, hey, this actually does what it says it does, to kind of confirm the marketing bias a little bit
yeah,
and see. Because honestly, I think for a retail company like Wildgame Innovations, if they're got the science to back it up, then you at the same time you're like, oh, now we can sell even more of these because it actually proves what we are doing. So it'd be interesting to kind of read up on that and figure out what the real science is behind it.
yeah. Like I said, I've seen enough now that I'm a believer, but
Yeah.
I would be interested in knowing more about what exactly it's doing,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like I said, you can use it to take the smell out of things. There have been a few times where I've had like really smelly articles of clothing that just got really nasty while kayaking or something, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
just throw them in front of the generator for a little bit, and the smell is gone. It's like, okay, it does something. I
Yep.
don't know exactly what, but it does something.
Yeah.
And if
Sure.
it's working on me, then it's got to work on a deer. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that kind of just wraps up our quick little podcast on the Wildgame Innovations Zerotrace and the Ozonic HR500. Uh, thanks, Travis, for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Echoes of the woods, where the heartbeats meet. Freedom runs wild under nature's dome. Down by the pine, it feels like home. Crisp wind whispers through the autumn gold. Stories of the land, both new and old. Tracks in the dirt, the trail calls my name. Out here in the wild, it's all just the same.